Hello, greetings from Florence. I hope you're having a great Tuesday wherever you are. So, I wanted to share a couple of things about today, knowing that somebody needs to hear this. I am in Tuscany for a retreat. I arrived yesterday. And today, a private photo shoot here in Italy, which I had arranged from when I knew I was coming. My first ever photo shoot was in 2021, when my coach at the time invited me, encouraged me, suggested that I have a photo shoot to represent, to show me who I was becoming. Because I'd had a 30-year corporate career up until that point. And my clothes, my look, all look like that version of me. So she invited me to have a photo shoot that represented the new version of me, who I was growing into, as I said, who I was becoming. So I had my very first ever photo shoot in 2021. And ever since then, I have them at least twice a year. Because, when you're stepping into a new version of yourself, I think it's important to have a tangible representation of who that person is. So you can remind yourself that this is who I am, this is where I am right now. And you can also look at your past photo shoots and appreciate your growth and how much you have stretched yourself and how far you've come. Because a few years ago, I would never have had the nerve to stand in the middle of a road in Florence and have someone on the other side photographing me with people watching. And that's what happened today, and it's not the first time. And so I recognize how far I have allowed myself to be stretched. So I'm now completely makeup free. I don't wear much makeup. I do wear some concealer and lip oil. That's about it. I'm not a makeup person. I don't like it. I haven't got a problem with people who wear it. I just don't like it on my face. Anyway, I don't wear much makeup. But when I have a photo shoot, I do. Do you? If you are naturally leaned into wearing makeup, getting dressed up, having maybe even hair and makeup done by somebody professional externally, do you? But equally, if you're not that person, then also do stretch yourself a little bit, to step a little bit out of your comfort zone, not to a point where you're not who you are anymore, not to a point where you don't recognize yourself, but to a point where you know that, oh, I've never done this before, and this is a little bit outside of what I would have normally considered my boundaries. I think it's great to do that. Like I said, I stood in the middle of several roads in Tuscany being photographed. But here is the thing. One time, we spotted two ladies for this photo shoot. So I had a professional photo shoot done. Now, when I was doing a video of crossing the street, I noticed a lady and her partner were walking on by. And when they saw, because I had to do a few retakes, when the lady, I was watching her, she saw me having to do a few retakes because there were so many cars. I noticed that she was about to cross the street and she stopped and watched us for at least 5-6 minutes. She was watching us. And then she gave her phone to the gentleman that she was with and asked him to do a video of her crossing the street. Listen, you never know who's watching you and who you're influencing, even if they don't say. So we then started to watch her being photographed whilst watching us. And then after that, we moved about 20-30 meters away. And again, I stood in the middle of the road being photographed, and I saw another lady, again, give her phone to her partner, and she stood in the same spot that I was, but facing the opposite direction. Brian and I were laughing like we're trendsetters. People had been happily walking on by, doing their own thing in Tuscany, and there I was being photographed like, do this for a living, like I'm some sort of model. No. It's really about stretching myself. And you never know, like I said, who you influence, who you impact, and who will say, oh, I want a piece of that action. I invite you to have regular photo shoots done, especially if you are building a brand, a business, especially if you're in some life transition and you're becoming a different version of you. You're stretching yourself. You're going outside your comfort zone. You are growing. have regular photo shoots so you have something tangible to not just be a tangible representation of who you are growing into, but also to give you something that you can look back on, see how far you've come. But also, there's something, I think, there's something that hits the brain differently when you see just how beautiful you are, especially through someone else's lens. It can really, what's the word I'm looking for? It can really elevate your self-image. It will, when I stand in front of my mirror, I see my flaws and what I don't have. But then when you see yourself through the lens of a professional photographer who knows what they're doing, you're like, I'm not that bad. Not even at my age. I've still got it going on. So that's another reason to have a regular photo shoot. And the final thing I wanted to share with you is yesterday, as I arrived, I walked around to check out the place and I saw a local photographer doing a photo shoot for a couple. I think they had been recently engaged because the poses looked like it was a kind of engagement photo shoot. And so he was taking them to the most Instagrammable spots in Florence for the photo shoot. Guess what I did? You better believe I follow them. Yeah, I follow them. And I made notes of 3 or 4 places that they went. And so today, guess what we did? We simply recreated our own photo shoots in some of those spots. Oh yeah, we found our own spots as well. And my photographer had also done his own little bit of research and he found some other spots. But my point is, yeah, I stalked people. Yeah, I did. I stalked people yesterday. I don't think they spotted me. It didn't seem to care. I stalked them. And then today we simply went back to the same spots and we were like, it's me this time having a photo shoot done. So tomorrow the retreat starts. And to say I am excited would be an understatement. It's a transformational retreat. When you're building a business, you need lots of different tools and strategies and tips and insights and learnings. You need to learn marketing, sales, content creation, the technical side of things, facilitation and business development. A part of the entire toolkit that you need is often ignored. And that's the internal bit, the self-belief bit. I really encourage you to not disregard your work on yourself, your self-image, self-belief, self-worth, your ability to create, the fact that you are deserving, the fact that you have got it going on, the fact that you have created magic in your life in the past, and so you can do it again. And sometimes life will knock you down and life will try to suggest that you can't, and life will try to suggest that you are weak and you are burdened and you need help and you haven't got what it takes. And I just want to say to you, that's a lie. That's an actual lie from the pit of hell. So I invite you honestly to work on yourself and not just on marketing and sales and all the rest of it. That's not important. I'm not knocking it. But in the middle of all that is you. In the middle of all that is you. Without you, there'll be none of the other stuff. So work on you. Happy Tuesday. Bye for now.